Lewis Hamilton is heading into the Canadian Grand Prix under a cloud of growing tension within Ferrari. What was supposed to be the dream partnership between one of Formula One's greatest drivers and its most iconic team is rapidly turning into something far more complicated. At the center of this shift is a demand Hamilton made after the last Grand Prix. A blunt request for Ferrari to stop wasting time on the SF25 and focus entirely on the 2026 season. But rather than following Hamilton's advice, Ferrari decided to double down. They rushed a series of last-minute upgrades for Montreal, pushing through changes that many of their top engineers had not even fully validated. The upgrades include a new rear suspension and a revised floor, components that were originally intended for later races like Silverstone or Austria, but in a move that insiders say was driven more by politics than performance, these parts were brought forward. The decision caused immediate friction within the team. Some engineers voiced private concerns, warning that the SF25's fundamental flaws would not be fixed by rushed hardware. According to internal simulations, the gains were expected to be marginal at best, maybe even invisible during race conditions. But the priority wasn't performance. It was maintaining the appearance of progress. Hamilton saw the situation clearly. He understood that these upgrades weren't about improving lap times. They were about optics. Ferrari's leadership, under immense pressure, wanted to look like they were still fighting. They couldn't afford the perception of giving up on the season. So instead of shifting their attention to the 2026 car as Hamilton suggested, they accelerated a plan to pretend the current project still had life. This difference in approach has exposed deep fractures within Ferrari. Behind closed doors, the team is no longer united. It's split into camps, those who align with Charles Leclerc and those who sympathize with Hamilton. Leclerc has adapted better to the SF25 and is more comfortable with its quirks. He also enjoys strong backing from management. As a result, he's become the political favorite. Hamilton, on the other hand, has struggled with the car's handling characteristics. His driving style, honed over years at Mercedes, clashes with the Ferrari's unpredictable rear end. More importantly, Hamilton has started to publicly question the team's development strategy. During recent technical meetings, Hamilton confronted the engineers about continuing to update a concept he believes is fundamentally flawed. He asked why resources were still being invested into a car that clearly had a ceiling. Leclerc countered, saying the team could still fight this season. That simple line, "We can still fight," carried more political weight than technical logic. It painted Hamilton as someone who had already given up, while Leclerc appeared as the loyal team player. This contrast has led to a narrative within the team that is extremely dangerous. According to some insiders at Maranello, Ferrari is no longer one team, it's two. One group wants to preserve the current project and keep pushing upgrades. The other believes it's time to cut losses and start planning for the future. Engineers are now caught in the middle. Some back Leclerc's optimism. Others admire Hamilton's honesty. But as Montreal approaches, these internal divisions are no longer hidden. Hamilton's request after the last race to shift focus to 2026 was seen by team principal Fred Vasseur as a direct challenge. Vasseur responded not by rethinking the strategy, but by pushing the Montreal upgrades through faster. His reasoning was clear. Ferrari could not afford to signal defeat. The problem is, this approach has only made things worse. The rushed development has led to growing unrest among the technical staff. Some fear the upgrades will fail on one of the most demanding tracks on the calendar. Others worry about reputational damage if the new parts don't deliver. Inside the garage, Hamilton has made his stance clear. He will drive whatever the team gives him, but he will not pretend it's progress. This quiet resistance has set the stage for what insiders are calling a coded war. A battle not fought with press releases, but with setup choices, radio messages, and body language. In pre-Canada briefings, Hamilton reportedly clashed with senior engineers over strategy. He told them, "You prepare the car as you see fit, but on track the decisions will be mine." This was not just a statement about racing, it was a declaration of independence. Expect Hamilton to override instructions if necessary. He wants the world to see the SF25's limitations. If that means sacrificing race pace to expose deeper issues, so be it. Every 10th lost will be a message, not to Red Bull or McLaren, but to Ferrari's leadership. Hamilton knows that this weekend isn't just about points, it's about control. He's no longer trying to win races in 2025. He's trying to reshape Ferrari's future. At the same time, Charles Leclerc continues to present himself as the stabilizing force within the team. His driving style suits the SF25 better, and he's been able to extract more consistent results. With 3 podiums under his belt, he's become the face of what still works at Ferrari. He defends the car, supports the upgrades, and maintains a message of unity. But some insiders see this as a political play. While Hamilton fights to fix the team long-term, Leclerc is focused on preserving his current position. The media may not show it, but the tension between the drivers is rising. They no longer operate as a unified pair. The garage is split. Engineers whisper of sabotage, not in the dramatic sense, but in the form of misguided upgrades and internal politics. One source described the Montreal package as smoke and mirrors, designed to save face, not win races. The real concern isn't just that the upgrades won't work, but that they will distract from the real issues. The SF25 has a core design problem. Until that's addressed, no amount of floor tweaks or suspension adjustments will make a difference. In Maranello, some of the most senior engineers are now siding with Hamilton. They agree the car is conceptually broken, but they also know that admitting this publicly would be seen as a betrayal, so the official line remains optimistic, even as private conversations reveal deep doubts. Fred Vasseur, once the symbol of hope, now finds himself increasingly isolated. He's betting everything on Montreal. If the upgrades flop, his credibility could collapse with them. This internal turmoil has changed Hamilton's approach. He's no longer passive. Sources close to him reveal that in recent days, he has taken more control over his race weekend than ever before. He wants to be involved in every setup decision, every strategic call. This isn't about micromanagement. It's about ensuring that his performance in Canada reflects reality, not PR. If the car is bad, he wants that to be obvious. Audio from recent team radios reportedly shows a sharp change in Hamilton's tone. There's less collaboration, more frustration. One insider described it as the sound of a driver preparing to burn political capital. Hamilton knows that speaking out could damage relationships within the team, but he also knows that staying silent would be worse. If he doesn't fight now, he risks being blamed for Ferrari's failures. As Montreal begins, every lap will carry a second meaning. Every setup tweak will be part of a larger narrative, and every radio message could be Hamilton sending a signal. This is not just a race weekend, it's a turning point. Leclerc's side of the garage may push a different story, one of progress, of adaptation, but Hamilton is preparing for confrontation. He's not here to mask Ferrari's flaws, he's here to reveal them. If he sacrifices race pace to highlight the car's weaknesses, it won't be a coincidence. If he goes off strategy or defies orders, it won't be a surprise. He's playing a longer game, a game that's about what comes after 2025. The cameras may focus on lap charts and overtakes, but the real story is unfolding behind the scenes, in the briefings, in the cold stares across the garage, in the tension no broadcast will dare to show. Ferrari is no longer just a team, it's a battleground, and Hamilton's demand to focus on 2026 was not just a technical suggestion, it was a political act, one that has now set the tone for everything that will follow. As the Canadian Grand Prix begins, remember, this is not just about speed, it's about survival. Hamilton is not just racing other drivers,